And we are live. What up, players? Welcome to episode 117 of Player Life. It is Tuesday, the 18th of May here in Tokyo, Japan. Hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are well indeed. Um, Winston Wolf in the house. What is up? What is good? Hope you're well. Gabriel E in the house. What's up? Says presentation yesterday. Receipts. Indeed, indeed. Um, that was this morning on my time. I did a presentation for anyone who doesn't know for MLD's Masculine Empowerment Network course called "Turning Bitches Out." So I thought I would might as well discuss that today here on Player Life as well. Um, why not? Why not do that? So yeah. Showed a lot of receipts. Showed a lot of receipts. But yeah, it was the idea behind that was to show that girls will basically, they will be very sexual for only for certain guys, even girls that you think would never do such things, um, who would who don't appear to be sexual, but for guys that they see as high value, they will be sexual. That is for sure. That is definitely for sure. You know, mm-mm. Yeah, I've seen too much. I have seen too much um, over the years, but yeah, it's I don't know. It's the player life, you know. Um, I have a lot of experience with a lot of different women, and I have a good idea of what what they actually want. You know, when it comes to especially when it comes to sex. Um, Relationships, I'm somewhat have a good idea, but yeah, I'm not a relationship expert, that's for sure. Um, you know, uh, but yeah, last night I did a photo shoot with a really hot girl that I met out and about, and I found out that she was a model. That is her. I don't understand guys that say they're not into Japanese into Asian girls. Just doesn't compute. I'm just into basically hot girls. Like I don't care if they're Indian or African or European or Asian. As if they're hot, if they have a nice shape, if they have a nice face, I'm into them. Um, it is what it is. But yeah, this morning I basically just uh, gave an example. You showed examples of text message game. Talked about uh, I showed examples of how sexual these girls actually get. Um, and actually, a lot of the girls that where showed text game, a lot of them have had boyfriends, had relationships, and things like that. There's an idea out there that women will, once they cheat, the relationship is completely over. And I can say that I've seen girls that have had zero intentions of breaking up with their partner or boyfriend or husband, but they were only cheating for physical pleasure. So girls definitely have a sexual appetite. I would say it's different from men's. Uh, a man's sexual appetite, a healthy man's sexual appetite, should always be kind of steady. Like it's sexual appetite, in a way. This is a hot take analogy right here. So a man's sexual what's it called sexual appetite or libido is more like the stock market, where it goes up Like we're always kind of we're always game. We're always up for it. But a woman's sexual appetite. God, I'm kind of tired today. I was out and about, but a woman's sexual appetite is more like crypto. It like pumps and dumps. Specifically shitcoins. Woman's sexual appetite goes like insanely high and then dumps. Um, and I've just seen it so many times where women will, at some points, have very little, um, you know, desire for sex, and at other points have a very strong sexual desire. Um, it's just from what I've seen, and men shouldn't really operate like that. Men should a healthy man should always be, pretty much always good to go. Um, if you're healthy, if you're getting enough sleep, if you're getting enough exercise, if you're eating well, you should have a high libido. You should always be up for some sexual activities. That's for sure. I talked as well, like I honestly never get like tired of sex, but what I do sometimes get tired of is just the whole game, like the game, like the just dealing with new women. It can sometimes get annoying. Um, Obviously, I like being around women, but um, you know, sometimes you get like burnout, and like I said, I actually don't get burnout from sex. Like I'm always good for that, but it's more like just the game that you have to play. It can be kind of draining. But honestly, if that ever happens, I just like 1 or 2 weeks. I can take a break for 1 or 2 weeks and I'll be back on the horse again. I mean, it really isn't something that bothers me too much. Know Your Worth in house says, "Yo, Mac, great breakdown this morning in men." Thank you indeed. Good to know you're in there. Rishi Padaruth in the house. What is up? What is good? Yeah, there really has never been a better time in probably in human history to actually be a player, like in a top percentile player, because we're living in a time of haves and have-nots, where there are men who are getting laid, and there are a lot of men who are not getting laid. So if you're in the top percentage of men who are banging a lot of women, it's obviously a good time to be alive. And in the past, things were more distributed more evenly. In more traditional societies, when people got married and all that. I mean, honestly, it's better for society. Icky in the house says, "Love the webinar." Thank you indeed. Yes, so in the past, things were more evenly distributed. Men and women got married. Hypergamy really wasn't that much out of control, because society kind of regulated women's hypergamous nature, and women were shamed for being too sexual. But obviously we're living in a society now where you're a misogynist if you shame women for being too sexual. So for guys like me, honestly, at the same time, you can call me a hypocrite, but I recognize that it's bad for society. But I also recognize that I'm not going to change it by doing me, like, being a trad con, by me being a stand-up guy, and it just whatever, being monogamous with one chick. Like, that's not going to fix the Western society. Like, I'm not going to change the whole thing. So I might as well just indulge in what at a base level I actually want to do, and what every guy actually wants to do is sleep with a lot of hot women whenever possible. Like every single man on the planet Earth and not every single. Obviously, there's gay men out there who don't, but um, every single straight man, they all want to sleep with a wide variety of hot women. Like it's healthy and it's normal, but to desire that, to want to do that, that's normal. It's entirely, you should want to do that. If you don't want to do that, then as a straight man, I don't know, you might want to check out your libido, your testosterone levels, or whatnot. Um, just men have been so blue pill conditioned to think, that, oh, they can't do that, or it's not right. It's not right to, they're just basically capping, like they're talking shit, when they say, oh, I don't want, I would never cheat. I don't want to cheat. I love my wife. I'm not attracted to other women because I'm with my wife. And it's like, all right, okay. I just don't believe it for a second. I do not believe it for a second. And, it's just, yeah, you might as well just, get just take advantage of the era we live in, or the age we live in, where women are celebrated for being sexual, for having being sexually active. They're basically, they can't be criticized for it in any way. So, or else, like I said, you're deemed a misogynist to say so. So, it's you might as well just have fun as a man. I mean, Aaron Clary talks about, enjoying the decline. I'm honestly like on board with that. You might as well enjoy, like, indulge in what you actually want to do, rather than trying to save the West. I was talking to a friend the other day about how Japan is such an anomaly. It's kind of strange how it has maintained its traditional ways as a country, but at the same time, it is very, it has very hentai culture as well. There is a lot of, there's a lot of, Japan obviously has an internal porn industry here, which is massive and a huge industry. And it's just strange. And there's love hotels all over Japan. It is strange how it has kind of maintained its own culture, and yeah. So, another word says, if a guy says that it's because they can't get side action. Yeah, guys often say it because it's a coping mechanism. There was one guy who said, I saw on Twitter that he was saying something, and it had a bunch of likes. It was some TradCon guy. I can't remember who. I don't even know who it was, but it had just a lot of traction. And he said something like, if a friend of mine ever cheats on his woman, I would immediately disassociate with that friend, or I wouldn't be friends with that person. And it's like, well, how is that relevant? How is that, your moral, how far your moral is going to get you, really? I hate, like, what are these do-gooders going to really, achieve? Do-gooders really, they're really not going to achieve anything. But guys, it can be really obvious sometimes when guys, like, criticize, guys that live the player lifestyle. It's like, oh, you don't respect women, or you don't respect women. It's not right to sleep with so many women. It's like, shut the fuck up. You would do the exact same thing at the drop of a hat, but you just can't do it, or you don't know how to do it, and you're jealous. It's like, a lot of people that I knew back in Ireland, even guys that I would have called friends or whatever, they, once they found out about like that I was having a good time over here in Japan, um, they'd ask me, oh, like, how are the women over there? And I'd be like, man, it's like, it's unbelievable. The women are hot. Like it's like, they're so feminine, much more feminine than Irish women, like much more pleasant, much nicer to be around. Uh, and they obviously saw that I was getting a lot of action, um, or at least I told them I was, and there'd just be a lot of bitterness, a lot of um, it would just they wouldn't really. I even had friends that said, "Oh, you must be." I don't even know, but even I don't even like. I had actual friends that would say like, "Oh, you must be paying for them, or they must be hookers, or you must be." You couldn't be getting with all these women, and it's like, you know, these guys just can't understand like the lifestyle that is possible out there, like especially when you come from a small place, like a small town, or and you start doing things that you can't actually do in a small town. Like, I'll be honest, like it would be very, very hard to live the lifestyle I live in Ireland. Like, not because I don't have game, not because it's easier, like not because it's easier because I'm a white guy in Japan. That's all bullshit. It's just because it's harder to do in a smaller place. Ireland is a very small country, um, you know, and the town I come from is very small. Like I could not live the lifestyle I live in my hometown. Not like I said, not because I don't have game. I got, you could have the best game in the world. The best player in the world could not live the lifestyle I live in my hometown. It's impossible. You wouldn't be able to do that. There isn't enough options. There isn't enough hot chicks. You would you would step on way too many toes. It would dry up real quick, really quick. But even in Dublin, after a while, it would probably dry up. But yeah, it's not open minded enough. You could live it to a certain extent in the capital city, Dublin, for a while probably, but still it's a very, very progressive. I talked before about how Ireland got all the worst traits of progressiveness. It got all the shit. It's like we skipped the sexual revolution and just got all the bullshit. We the At least America and things like had the sexual revolution, and like where there was like free love and all that stuff. Ireland just got the bullshit. Ireland just got the shit. We just got the feminists. We just got the garbage. We got all the Me Too, and we got all we got abortion, yay, like celebrating abortion, and it's like, yeah, there was really no sexual revolution in Ireland. It's still small minded, and um yeah, it's a bit yeah. So you really, like, there's a cold hard truth about living the player lifestyle. No matter where you are, you need game. Like, you need game. You need to understand dynamics between men and women to not get screwed over, and to get on in life without getting without being a blue pill simp and getting all butthurt about women. But the cold hard truth is, the bigger the pool, the easier, the more you can live the player lifestyle. That's just, a lot of guys don't like to hear it because they might be stuck in a certain place, for jobs or whatever, for whatever reasons, they can't move out, or they're not able to move out. They might live in a small town. They might be stuck there for business reasons, family reasons. But if that's the situation you're in, that's like you're fishing in a small pond, in a small pool. There's only so much you can catch in a small pond. But like I said, when you move to a big place, like a big city like Tokyo, man, like, and I've said it, like, it isn't easy because I'm a white guy in Tokyo, and it's not easy anyway. But it is very good place to do it, because it's to do game. to live the player lifestyle because it's such a big city. It's fucking massive. It's just like there's so many like places and there's so many parts of the city and there's so obviously so many women. Like all the hottest women in Japan, not all of them, but because there's hot women all over Japan, definitely. But a lot of the hot women come to Tokyo, because Tokyo's the city, Tokyo's where everything's happening. But I think great thing about Japan is there's hot women everywhere, like up and down the country, and but wherever it is, if you're in America, Europe, whatever, the bigger the city, the better. Like big cities and player lifestyles go hand in hand. Like it's common sense, really. Um, Know Your Word says, I'll be moving to where the logistics are more favorable by the end of year. Yeah, logistics are very important. That's another thing. That's another cold hard truth about, having a very fruitful sex life is that logistics are actually more important than game. Like it's, and that's not very smart, as someone who's supposed to be teaching game, who is teaching game, that's like just as a very honest opinion from me, to say that logistics are actually more important than game, because you could have the best game in the world, and if you're living in a shit spot, like if I was like I said, if I was living in my hometown, like it's tiny, like I think the town, it's not a city, it's a town. It probably is like 10 to 15,000, maybe 20,000. I don't know. Still very small population, and very limited type of game you can do there. Very limited. I mean, you as soon as you start banging a few chicks, you would get a reputation, and it's not that I really would really care about having a reputation, but it would just be like your pool would dry up like almost immediately because girls wouldn't want to be associated with you because, like I said, small town mentality. You can't. Guys would get jealous of you. Guys would get butthurt that you're smashing all these women and they're not getting any, and they'd be like start crying and start talking shit about you, and probably blue pill alphas, as I like to call them, or blue alpha simps would maybe even try and fight you, for banging one of their chicks or a girl that they liked. It would just be a shit show, be a real shit show. But yeah, back to logistics. Having unbelievable game and living in a shit location is not as good as having okay game or even shit game, but living in an absolutely solid spot with a lot of access to hot women, hot young women, university students, all kinds. Really is cold hard truth. Like I said, guys don't want to hear about it because they might be stuck, but that is the reality, and it really is common sense. It's not that controversial a thing to say, in my opinion. You know, you got to get to a good spot. You got to get to where the hot. If fishermen are out in the sea, do they go to like a small place like where there's not that much access to like shoals of fish? Obviously not. They go to like big open open seas where there's like giant shoals of fish, and they go and fish where the fish are at. Same with game. You put yourself as a man into a pool with a lot of hot women, and then it's all to do a numbers game. Like there's plenty of time to go and live in the countryside and enjoy nature and enjoy peace and quiet when you're old. Like living in the countryside is not a young man's game. I don't even think it's healthy. There's a lot of depression in Ireland, actually. A lot of suicide, actually. Very, very high rate of suicide. I hate to bring it down, but like I think that it's honestly a lot of that depression probably comes from a mixture of things, but a huge factor is probably that guys are not getting laid. It's just I really believe that, and that's probably mixed in with excessive drinking and not getting any pussy, just depressing, like being a young man full of testosterone, full of desire for sex, but being reduced to watching constantly, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out, watching Pornhub, like going to shitty bars, going to like dead end like bars with fuck all options. Um, you know, it's just like the best you can hope for is to get the best you can hope for is to get like a girlfriend, basically, in some of these small towns. And that's like, as a man in your 20s, as Rollo Tomasi says, you shouldn't, I fully agree with it too. You shouldn't be in a committed relationship. You should be playing the game, playing the fields. You should be living it up, especially in this day and age. Like, especially in this day and age. Even I'm 32 and I have no intention of settling down. Man, I like, it's not even an addiction. I mean, I just love, like, I have a healthy desire for sex, like with multiple women. It's just it's not the only thing in life. It's not the best, but it's one of the best things in life. Like having sex with hot, beautiful women. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to do. It would just be very, very depressing not to be engaging in that. It would really depress me, because we only get one life. Like, we only get one shot. Like, I don't believe in reincarnation. I don't believe in heaven or hell. I don't believe in any of that. I believe when we're gone, we're gone. We're gone for good. We all have our own beliefs, but that's my belief. And the idea of wasting your youth, wasting your 20s, your 30s in small towns, in the countryside, where there's fuck all options. You can't, like I said, the best you can hope for is, to get a girlfriend, to get a girlfriend where after a year or so, you're going to be, for me, after a year or so, your sexual attraction is going to, or your sexual desire for her will not be so high. I mean, and for me, I mean, it's like after because I have so much sexual experience, like, after, my desire for something new, it doesn't take long for my desire, to have a desire for something new. Doug Patterson in house says, "Hell yeah, brother! Same here. Play the field. You gotta play the field when you are in your 20s, and I think 30s at this stage, yeah. Because I just think that, personally speaking, it just is. It's one of the best things. It is a very pleasurable thing to have sex with a young, hot, feminine woman. It's just and as you get older, if you're in your once you get into your 50s, 60s, 70s, obviously it's not going to be as easy. Men do hit a wall. I mean, we're very different from women. Or women get a raw deal. Like, I would never choose to be a woman. Like, women are like, it's pretty rough being a woman. I mean, their sexual peak is like, 21, 22. Like, really, in reality, that's when they're at their most beautiful. Like, and they do, and they're not only physically, but not only on the outside, like not only on the shell, but even biologically speaking, that's when women are their most fertile. Like, they really, like, they pump and dump. It's such a harsh thing to say. I'm just talking about the sexual marketplace, obviously, but men of all ages, like teenagers, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, all men of all ages desire a 21-year-old woman, or a 20-year-old woman. Like, even goddamn, like, even I gotta say, like, even this chick that I like, this chick is 18, like, and she is stunningly beautiful. Like, she is like unbelievably, like, she's very hot. She's 18 years old. Um, it's like, oh, youth for women is it's like, they're women are just given money up front. Like, they're just women. Men are made. Women just are. Um, but Winston Wolf says picture is very tasteful. Yeah, man. Photography game is something I do. That is, I like photography. And not even just photography game, but I like shooting. It's very nice to have a photo. If you've never done it, it's actually, even when, nothing sexual happens, it is very nice just to have a photo shoot with a woman, one-on-one session with a beautiful woman, in feminine woman in her underwear or even naked. Um, it's a fun thing to do. I like it. Um, yeah, it's always kind of, yeah. A lot of women like actually get turned on when they're actually having their photos taken. It's interesting to see. And that's another thing. There's like, in this day and age, with all the social media, all the female empowerment, it's actually a great time to be like to do that kind of photography, if that's what you want to do, like, if because it's very it's there's a lot of women that are up for having their photos taken. It's not as taboo. I guess it makes it kind of less cool, less taboo, less rebellious. But yeah, pictures of hot women are, it's never going to get boring. I hope it never gets boring. I really hope taking pictures, or just seeing pictures of hot women, or taking pictures of hot women, never gets boring, because it's a great pleasure in life. It is a good time. But if anyone is interested in learning photography game, you should hit me up. I will tell you exactly how I go about it. Or if you want to know exactly how I go about it, you should sign up to my premium content, where you will see exactly how I go about it in Tokyo. You will get access to all that data. But yeah, I'm kind of juiced today. Had a busy day, but and I have another plate coming over today. It's gonna be a good time. It is gonna be a good time. She's just home delivery. But another friend of mine just when you have a good group of friends, like, I know a few guys in Tokyo where we live the player lifestyle, and we're pretty tight. So, sometimes if I have a plate, you know, I'll sometimes pass plates on to friends, like, or a good friend. And the good thing about that is, if they're a solid player like me, they'll pass the plate on to me. And as guys, we all like new pussies, so it can be a good system. But not that I really need that. I can source my own women, no problem. But that's another thing that you can do. Um, it's all good. Gabriel E says sharing is caring, and this one is hot too, man. This one is real hot. Like, I was surprised. I was like, Are you serious? You're just gonna like pass on a chick to me? And because I actually sorted a friend out before, and this is her. Yeah, it's kind of blurry, but yeah, fucking seriously hot, and yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Yep. Player lifestyles, but we really don't care. We we just pass them on. Um, Sharing is caring indeed. But yeah, I actually have a pretty hot girl coming around right now. It's gonna be a good time. Um, but yeah, busy life with the women. But once you get this, like it's really once you understand, once you figure out like game, like it's like that part of your life is just squared away. Like you'll never be stuck for for sourcing for getting women ever again. You might have dry spells, you might have this that this that and the other, but you'll always be able to source women once you know what they want. You know, once you know how to, once you've done it, and that part of my life is just is squared away. Um, But yeah, um, I'm gonna cut it a little bit early tonight, just because I have to go and pick this chick up. Um, and she just messaged me now saying that she was there. So yeah, guys, I'll be back. What day is today? Today's Tuesday. I'll be back tomorrow night for another episode of Player Life. As usual, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Have a good day. I will catch you on the flip side. Peace out, guys. Bye bye.